Welcome to this week's episode of Operation Support Local. I am your host, Derek Fage. I want to first thank you for the story ideas. Keep them coming. If you have a story idea, please visit our website, rogerstv.com. We have a great show for you again this week, and we start off at Freeform Fitness, a locally owned gym. They have a few locations in and around the Ottawa area, and we go to the Wellington Street location where manager and personal trainer Catherine Marion tells us why they are in a unique position to welcome clients back into the gym.
Tall, squeeze your glutes, good.
Freeform Fitness is a personal training gym in the sense that our members train 100% of the time with a trainer. So when we say personal, we mean 100% personal, so that we have a vast array of clients who have a whole bunch of different goals. So there's sort of the if you will, the typical healthy, just want to stay healthy kind of client, right? We have people who have hip replacements, and then they need to work with a doctor, a physiotherapist, and a personal trainer to get themselves back to where they need to be after a surgery. We've got members who have Parkinson's. So I have a certificate, a degree in regards to that. We have people that are elderly, 70s, 80s. We have teenagers. We have a young girl who's on the national team for the gymnastics national team. So each of these people, their training has to be catered to what their goals are. So whether it's just general health, or whether it's specific hip replacement, or trying to get to better into your national team, into your gymnastics, maybe Olympics one day. So it's really geared towards your goals, and that's why it's personal training. So pivoting for us involved a lot of Zoom meetings. And we're a small company. We have 5 gyms in the city here. And so we had a lot of Zoom meetings with all of the managers and all of the trainers. And we all kind of got together to, shoot the breeze, if you will. What do we do? What do you think? Where should we go from there? And we all knew, okay, people can train from home. Will they want to? We didn't know yet. That's not the service that we'd offered up until now, right? People come in here to train. They come into our physical gyms. And so we were all kind of talking about how can we do this, and then we created a protocol and so forth. And then we started sending out emails. So as the manager of this location, I sent out a very personal email to all of my members, like mine from my location here at Wellington, and saying, here's what we can do. And then we thought, okay, we can offer some training from home, and we can set it up through Zoom, and you tell me what you have in your house, and I guarantee you I can make you break into a sweat. We can make this work. We have a couple of team members who train virtually already. So what they did is they recorded themselves with permission with their clients, so that we could because sometimes it's just if you can't visualize what it's going to look like, you're not sure. And I remember thinking, I'm very comfortable in the gym. I'm very comfortable, talking to people, being on camera, but I thought, how do I do virtual training? But seeing, some of our members doing it, one who had a lot of equipment and one who had very little, I thought, okay, yeah, I get it. It's the same thing I'm doing here, except now I'm not moving. Usually here I'm moving with the client. I'm, demonstrating stuff. I just need to be much more precise in the words I use so they can understand, because I can demonstrate clearly here. And then I thought, oh, wait a minute, if I back up from my computer just a little bit, I can demonstrate the curl, the shoulder press, whatever that is, depending on what they have at home. And so with help from our team members that had experience, we all kind of were able to jump into the fray and go for it. And for sure, the first couple, you're not 100% sure, but then I remember telling my clients, hey, let's wing it. You're new at this, and I'm new at this, and let's see what happens. And it wasn't that hard, because the training aspect is the same. It's just now I'm not looking at you in front of me, I'm looking at you through a computer. So I think that we did really, really well in a relatively quick way. Cleanliness is key, right? So we've got all the things that Health Canada talk about. We've got the signs on the door that say, okay, stop. Have you traveled? Most people have not. Are you feeling ill, the coughing, that kind of thing? Don't come in. Hand sanitizer at the door. We've got the thermometer. We take your temperature when you walk in. I changed my lobby completely. I sold the furniture that was here because there is no more lobby. So we're asking our clients arrive on time. Normally people would come in 5-10 minutes before, 15 even, and have a nice warm up. We can't do that right now, right? That's just not safe. So we're asking our clients, you show up 30 seconds before, come in and come in ready. So again, no changing, right? So I bought a carpet so that people can wipe their feet, because before they would change their shoes. Because the rules before were no outside shoes in the gym. Well, you know what? That's not going to happen now. I want you to come in and ready so we can do our thing. Start working out right away. So we've also switched the entrance and exit. So the front door is now only for the coming in, and we have a back door that was meant to be for emergency only. Now it's our exit, so that there's a flow. People come in and come out, and nobody crosses down the middle. Plus, you know, when I'm not training, I'm working at the desk, or any of the trainers can work at the desk. We don't necessarily want people milling in that lobby, you know, as well. The washrooms, of course, are open. So we are doing everything we can to follow the guides, the guidelines, but also take just a little bit of a step further to make sure everybody feels really comfortable. Bringing clients back, I thought was going to be, you know, a bit of a challenge. We are doing exceptionally well. Everybody's wearing a mask, even when they're working out. I know that some gyms say that it's not necessary, and others, you know, for us, we chose, okay, mask on for myself. So, you know, during a workout, I wear the Freeform Fitness mask, and the client wears theirs as well, and we have had zero complaints. Zero complaints. So the new memberships are going very quickly because we're such a personal training gym, and we're limiting it to 3. A lot of people are not sure they want to go to a bigger gym where there may be 15, 20, who knows, you know, they're not sure about that. So it's going very quickly. So we're taking emails. People are finding us through Google or Facebook or Instagram. And there's an actual form there where you can sort of write your name and say that you're interested and you'd like to, you know, get some information. Then we write back right away. And, you know, so that you can get started. Whether it's starting from scratch, it's like, you know what, COVID reminds me that I need to take care of my health, or whether it's, I've been off for 6 months, I need to get back to it. Both of those things are available. And so just a quick email or phone call, and we can set you up.
Our next segment is with LIM Geomatics. They specialize in geographical mapping services. They are a software company, and they, like so many businesses, had to shut down completely. Well, we find out from President Kevin Lim how they managed to stay afloat during these unprecedented times.
I started LIM Geomatics in 2006 when I was finishing my PhD at Queen's. So I spent about 12 years in graduate, well, I guess university, I should say. But as a kid, I grew up, I was that kid delivering the newspaper, you know, 3 hours after each day. So if I wanted to buy something, you had to make your own money. So always had a sense of innovating, trying to do things quicker, not the guy who likes to repeat doing things. LIM Geomatics builds geospatial software and data for the forest industry. Specifically, we're targeting forestry companies to get better insight into how their operations are going. So it comes down to being efficient and reducing costs wherever possible. So we build software that lets them monitor their heavy equipment in the field, lets them do various types of planning activities using desktop software or even smartphone applications. So it's really bringing that digital transformation to a sector that historically has maybe been a little slower to adapt some of these newer technologies. LIM Geomatics is a pure technology company, so while we may be able to speak the language, the jargon of foresters, because we have that going on 15 years of domain expertise, by all definitions we deal with technology. Our staff are computer scientists, software engineers, you know, GIS analysts and whatnot. So really the opportunity here was for us to create those relationships with forestry companies that otherwise, it's a sector that typically is maybe a little bit more leery to embrace new technology. They're as advanced as some of the mills are and whatnot, you still have folks in some jurisdictions that have flip phones, you know, compass paper. Not to say there's anything bad. If it works, it works. But at the end of the day, when a younger workforce especially is coming through the ranks equipped with a smartphone in their pocket, it largely sets an expectation in terms of what should or could be done today. So very much with this pandemic that's been ongoing, it's forced a lot of these companies to realize some of the things they thought were never possible. They're forced in that position to realize it's possible whether they like it or not. So when the pandemic hit, if you will, depending on which date you want to use, it was actually kind of funny. We had an American customer in this boardroom right here that came up for 2 days of meetings, and literally as we were having this meeting, we were constantly watching the news because we were worried about the American side or even the Canadian side closing the border. So that was the first, if you will, kind of taste of the pandemic coming, but it was early. Not a lot of people knew what was happening. In our particular case with forestry, it was almost like an overnight stop in terms of the funding well, if you will, just ran dry instantaneously. Talking with a lot of our tier one clients, it wasn't necessarily that they were in financial distress, as opposed to everybody was taking that pattern of, I don't know what's happening, let's shore up our balance sheets, let's hoard our cash, let's ride this through into the fall winter time frame. Definitely we've been negatively impacted, revenue wise, probably 50% drop for sure. So the Canadian government stepping up to the plate has helped us maybe avoid making some of those hard decisions around workforce. But certainly now, as we look at being in that September timeframe, we're in that sweet spot where companies are reassessing their budgets, planning for the future. And if anything, that dam of demand is starting to open up, and we're starting to feel that the future is looking a bit more positive than maybe it was yesterday. So think about the impacts personally on entrepreneurs and business owners. It hasn't been an easy ride. There's that saying that entrepreneurship's not for everyone, and I think the pandemic is a great example to show that you got the ups, the highs, and you got the lows, and the pandemic's definitely the lows. So certainly it's nerve-wracking when you think we've got 20 people and their families at risk, right? Not alone, yet alone your own family per se. So definitely there's sleepless nights. As I said, LIM Geomatics as a whole, we've been financially stable, we've been profitable from day one. Not to say we're risk averse, but we were fortunate that we at least had a little bit of a war chest to position ourselves to ride this out. But I think on the personal side is, as I think about other CEOs that I interact with, I know companies that are bankrupt. And hundreds of people that no longer have jobs. And so when you think about that, I feel blessed that LIM Geomatics is able to do what it's able to do and provide for its people. But at the same time, there's a lot of people hurting out there. So if I was to say there weren't some sleepless nights, I'd be lying. As an owner, as a leader, part of your job is not to instill panic in your workforce. So it's not something you can share with people and go, oh my God, things are on fire, like run for the high hills. So you need to kind of dial it back a little bit and focus on what you can control. And again, fall back on your strategy, things that's gotten you through the tough times, and just execute at the end of the day, and maybe roll the die a little bit here to see what happens.
Next up, we head to Planet Botanix, and we catch up with owner Heather Garrett, who's owned the business. She's about to celebrate a big anniversary, 15 years in business, and they offer a lot of health and wellness solutions, whether it comes to with products or with their network of holistic practitioners. Well, of course, they've had to change the way they do business, like most businesses here in our community. Have a look.
The inspiration came from my children, because when they were growing up, there was nothing really natural to put on their skin, and out of necessity, I started making formulations, and that's how we started. And then we've just expanded upon wellness. We have over 100 essential oils, because they're kind of my little addiction. Many wellness products related to nutrition, because I feel that that's extremely important, especially now that we supplement whatever we need to keep our bodies as robust as possible. We have meditation and yoga, huge crystal selection, which is completely run by the customer's needs, and a wellness clinic as well. And essential oils can really alter your mood completely. So bergamot, for example, which comes from Italy, is a mood enhancer, and it's actually being used in clinical studies in Italy to help with clinical depression. Peppermint is energizing. Rosemary is very good for focus and concentration. And each essential oil has over 20 different properties. So it's not just a physical thing. It can be on the emotional level. It can be on the physical level. They can help with congestion, respiratory distress. They can help with headaches, all sorts of things. So my big thing is either fairly traded or Canadian or North American. Those are my three priorities, because I want everyone to earn a decent living at what I purchase from them. So many of our products are fairly traded from overseas, and they're not certified fair trade necessarily, because there's a whole bureaucracy around that, but I trust my suppliers, and they know the people in the villages that they work with, that they are getting their supplies from and pay them adequately. Canadian, of course, is top of my list right now. The whole support local also means that I want to support the local economy by buying from local suppliers. So we have local teas in stock, we have beeswax candles, anything that can be made that's Canadian, that it can be wholesale, that's what I'm looking for.
In mid-March, you know, we find out that we're living in a pandemic and everything has to shut down. Talk to me about that period in your life.
It was the worst time to be an extrovert. I'll say that right away. So we were still doing mail orders and curbside pickup when we were allowed to. And so I would come in, I would do the mail orders and leave. I really couldn't be here. It was not something that, it usually fills me with joy to be here and be with my staff and my customers who've become friends. But it just wasn't the same vibe. And so I was very grateful for being able, we were also doing deliveries for all those things, but you really had to shift gears very, very quickly. So we realized that our website shopping cart wasn't as robust as it should be, so now we've changed to Shopify. So it was really about juggling a lot of different balls very quickly, but most people who run small businesses know that game very well.
Yeah, and in behind us here, you do a lot of healing modalities. You mentioned, you know, some of them to us, but what effect has it been on that side of the business?
So they just started back, my practitioners just started back about a month ago. We were waiting for the go-ahead and for a description of what precautions we had to take. So we were already doing that in store, but when you're close to somebody physically, it's a different story. So they had to have their masks ready and masks for their clients, as well as sanitation. We had to switch out some of the furniture so that it could be clean between each client. And we're just keeping an eye on everything so that we're always observing the right protocols.
How big of an impact has it been on the business?
So I still have some catching up to do. But what I realized, my kids are always talking about online shopping and how I'm a dinosaur. It's simply not the case. People want the one-on-one interaction. They want to come in and talk to somebody. They want to see things. They want to touch them. They're tired of being in front of their monitors and doing all sorts of online shopping. Plus, we're social creatures, so it's really nice to come in and talk to somebody. How have you been? How have you been coping with everything? And because, as I said, we're in a neighborhood, and so a lot of our customers have become friends. And that was an aspect that we were really missing. So it's been a great experience since we've been reopened. So what I would like to see more of in the news, and I really haven't, but I'm not a big news person, is talking about nutrition and talking about supplementation to boost your immune system. And I do that personally, and I also have a lot of products in the store that can help with that. I never say this right, I've been practicing for 2 days. Quercetin is a supplement that is an anti-inflammatory, but is also recommended for COVID and that type of illness. Zinc, very good. Vitamin C, very good. Vitamin D, elderberry, and of course, lowering your stress and anxiety, because if your stress levels are very high, those nutrients are going in and out of your body as quickly as you can put them in. So you're not even maintaining a balance. So it's really important to just relax as much as possible. And I know that sounds very facile, you know, it's so easy to say and so hard to do, but it's a practice, just like anything else. So just calm down. I have high hopes. I've seen that people really want to interact. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. I hope everyone is respectful of the laws that are in place right now so that we can remain open. That's the concern. That's really the concern right now. If I have to wear a mask for 2 years because it keeps my store open, then I will do it. And we're all in this together. So that really is the way to look at things.
Next up, I speak to Lucas Nault, who owns Lucas Nault Hair Studio. They describe themselves as an urban organic hair studio. And the pandemic could not have come at a worse time for Lucas. He had just moved into his new location, and 2 weeks later, the pandemic hit. We catch up to Lucas to find out how it impacted his business and how he took a leadership role in the industry.
We've been open for 15 years. We're Ottawa's first organic and natural hairstyling studio. So all of our products are sourced with ethically and with organic or natural ingredients certified. I've had a lot of illnesses in my family, and I've seen other hairstylists get quite ill from being around harsh chemicals all day, breathing them in constantly. And I wanted to do something different. I had worked in health food stores as a teenager, and I decided that being in this industry, I wanted to try to find the most natural route to get the same results that other salons get with the harsh chemicals.
Let's go back to mid-March, and you find out that the city of Ottawa is going into a lockdown. Tell me about your feelings at that time.
Well, we had just moved to our new location 2 weeks prior to COVID-19 shutdowns beginning. I had 2 salons before, one on Laurier near Ottawa U, and our lease wasn't renewed after 15 years. And I had a second salon on Main Street that was there for 3 years that specialized in organic products but was expropriated for highway renewal. So all of this happened within a few months, and I had to think quick, and I found this beautiful location in Centertown on Somerset West, only to find out 2 weeks later that we were being shut down. So we got notice, and within a day, we had to completely cease operations. So I had, like I said, just moved. I was still settling deals with other landlords and trying to pay things off. And we were doing really well for the first 2 weeks, and everything was looking up. I had all my payments were going through, everything was going well. And then being shut down, it just kind of came to a really fast halt. And here we were for 3 months, completely shut down. It's really difficult because everybody here is an independent contractor. And we all make our own schedules, have our own clienteles, work at our own pace at our own times. So not being able to work at all, it made it very difficult to, pay our regular rent, pay for tools and for anything that we might need, bills that we had before that we were having no problems paying. Suddenly we couldn't pay them anymore. So, financial stress in every way possible. It was very difficult. Our regulatory body, the College of Trades, was disbanded only about a year ago from the current government of Ontario, and we had nobody to really help us out. So we didn't have anyone to ask questions, we had no one to get information from, no guidelines on when we got back to work, if we got back to work, how we would run our businesses. So I decided to take it into my own hands with the help of some great friends, like Catherine Laundrie from She Shops Local. And she helped me really start this coalition where we gained 700 members in a week from the Ottawa area. And it really were able to push for some solid concrete actions. And the city with Ottawa Public Health helped us all come up with the guidelines and the necessary cleaning precautions that would be important for when we reopened. From the moment someone walks through the door, we ask them a series of questions to make sure that they haven't been in contact with anyone with COVID-19. If they have any personal belongings, they go into a plastic disposable bag. They hand sanitize. When they come upstairs with us, we wash the door handle and the railing with disinfectant. All of the disinfectants that we use here, we have chemical baths for our tools like our combs and our scissors with DIN number certified government approved cleaning products. And we also do steam cleaning at the end of every night with a high pressure, extremely hot steam cleaner just to double check everything and make sure that there's absolutely no chance. It's hard for a lot of people. I haven't gotten my full clientele back. Neither has most people here because, a lot of people are high risk. You've got people that are senior citizens, you've got people with underlying health conditions, and they don't want to take the risk. And you can't blame them. In the times that are going on right now, it's a life or death situation for some people. And I happen to have a lot of elderly clients, and they're not all coming back right now, and I totally get it, but it doesn't make it any easier for me. We are offering all the services that we offered before now. Facebook has been a great tool. We have online booking for cuts and blow dries and updos and simple things easily booked online, and it's been a great help. We also changed our entire debit machine processing to a tablet, so you don't have to worry about dirty buttons. We wipe it after every client, which makes it really clean and no worries. And tap, of course.
Yeah, we've always talked, I think, about supporting local, and that's become even more important during the pandemic. What would your message be to the community?
People have to stick together. Stop using divisive language. Stop trying to better other people. Instead of that mentality, if you used to look at somebody as competition, start to look at them as your friend and start to work together, because that's the only way as a community we can actually get through this. We have to leave the way that we used to think behind and start a much more positive outlook on things. It's the only way we'll get through it. But I see the light at the end of the tunnel if things keep going the way they're going.
Thanks so much for watching this week's episode of Operation Support Local. Keep those story ideas coming. Again, visit our website to find out more information and how you can reach out to us. Don't forget to tune in each and every Friday right here on Rogers TV at 6:30 p.m.